Why is everyone so angry? We have all heard that anger clouds judgment, but of course no one wants to be angry. There are things that make us angry. Since we have seen a lot of anger in society lately, I thought I would give you my perspective on the topic and tell you my tip on how you can make sure that your judgment isn't clouded and how you can direct your anger towards solving your own problems and avoid wasting your time and energy. Now, in order to be able to direct our anger, we need to make sure we know how it works. And this is how I interpret anger and its role in our evolution. It is a very primal emotion that was indeed, of course, very necessary for our survival. Someone threatens your tribe or steals from you, you get angry and deal with the problem. The faster you are able to react with all your physical power, the better. This is why anger is relatively difficult to control, because it was used in situations where taking some time to assess the situation wasn't an option. It was relatively simple back then, but nowadays things get a bit more complicated. We are no longer threatened constantly by saber-toothed tigers, for example, which is a good thing, but there are other threats that, unfortunately, are not that easy to detect. One of them is the fact that since we know how anger works, there are people who can exploit it and be able to manipulate others for their personal benefit. Now, every time I get angry about a topic and see that a lot of other people are also angry, I ask myself, is someone making money because I am angry? One of the most obvious and cringe-worthy examples of that was a Pepsi commercial in which they tried to use the emotions of the protesters in the US and show how they drink Pepsi. And even the police enjoyed a can of Pepsi at the end of the commercial. Because it was so ridiculously obvious what they were trying to do, and because of the backlash, it was taken down. But this is a very good example of how people who want to make money would hop on any train that would get them there. A lot of times these people don't create the anger themselves. Usually there is a problem and people are angry. But in order to sell their product or be able to manipulate them into doing something, very often they pour petrol on the fire and make them angrier. Another, far more sensitive subject is intimate relationships. There are a lot of movies, magazines and other types of media depicting women or men in interactions that stereotype them, exaggerate their flaws and basically make a caricature out of them. I'm not talking about comedies because, if done correctly, humour can sometimes even help us deal with difficult topics. But all other types of media that hop on this train of the so-called war between the sexes are, in my opinion, people with very questionable moral values. In times where divorces are reaching all-time highs and keeping a stable relationship is very often a pie in the sky for a lot of people, do we really need more petrol poured on the topic? Do we need our young, impressionable minds seeing the stereotype of the toxic, inconsiderate male or the money-oriented, unfaithful female? We didn't get to where we are by fighting each other. Can you imagine if there was a war of the sexes back then, when we were fighting off wild animals and the elements every day in order to survive? Of course, today we no longer need to fight saber-toothed tigers. But do we really want to direct our energy into fighting each other? If you think about it, there are conflicts between almost all groups in society. Probably the most ridiculous of them is between some of the soccer fans who fight each other, sometimes to the death, because of the colour of the other man's t-shirt. The question I ask myself is, would the person selling the t-shirt want absolute peace and harmony between the fans? Would they want everyone to calm down and enjoy the game together, not caring about which team they support? They would definitely want to avoid physical violence between fans, but the rivalry is what brings in the money. When you start looking for this phenomenon, you start finding people who see difficult situations and try to profit from them. I don't think they want to harm others, they just want to benefit themselves. But unfortunately, this is sometimes harmful to society. So this is why every time I notice my anger and see other angry people around me, I ask myself, is someone making money because we are angry? If the answer is yes, then I try to keep an eye on this person and ignore the information they feed me, which makes it easier for me to focus on the problem itself, and it usually makes me a bit less angry. As you probably know if you have watched some of my previous videos, I believe that we need a clear vision for our future in order to have a stable society today. I don't think it would be possible to expand our civilization to other planets if we keep fighting because of the colour of our t-shirts, the colour of our skin, or the colour of our flag. I think our common goals are more important than colours. If human relationships interest you, maybe you would enjoy watching our dedicated video on the topic. The link is in the description below. Anyway, if we managed to brighten your day a bit, give us a like so that the YouTube algorithm will be happy. Tell us what you think in the comments below and subscribe for more future thoughts.